Today in the crypto space, we see a bit of indecision. Bitcoin coming down approximately 1%, right around that $96,000 mark. Ethereum is down 2%, right around that $3,600 level. And the rest of the crypto space, a mix of green and red. We have some good gainers. XRP and HBAR are definitely leading the way to the upside, along with Litecoin, VeChain, Aave, Chainlink, and many others. And of course, we have a few dips like Sui, Tau, Bonk, Celestia, and a few others also. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one project, one altcoin that is looking pretty good. And of course, that project is called Spectral. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the general market first. We'll go through the top 100. We'll look at the Bitcoin price as a leading indicator first, and then we'll talk about Spectral, a project, an AI project, an agent project that is definitely looking good, has moved very aggressively to the upside in the last little while. But the question is, when is the appropriate time to scale in? We'll talk about that soon. You can see that the overall market cap is still grinding to the upside with a bit of hesitation here on the tail end, right around $3.6 trillion, while we're getting a lot of market participation and increasing trading volume. So there's a battle happening between sellers and buyers. The trading volume, pretty much at this current moment is a battle between both sellers and buyers, equally getting involved. As we can see, the price of the market cap is going sideways, kind of thing, chopping around. This is a bit concerning because we do see a hesitation throughout the market led by Bitcoin. As you can see, Bitcoin going sideways like this is not the best indication of strength. It could be that we do dip. And the reality is that psychologically speaking, if Bitcoin's having a hard time breaking above this zone, as you can see it has been, the only way to really get that going is to dip and pick up bullish bids at lower levels. Psychologically, what that means is essentially we want to incentivize individuals to get in and buy, and the only way to really make it an incentive is to put it on sale. Put it on a fire sale, make it come down a little bit, we buy the dips, and then obviously the FOMO kicks in when we go back to the previous high. Then maybe you start breaking out, and then of course, the squeeze and all of that, euphoria and emotion kicks in. But as it goes sideways here, the market tends to get, let's say, uninterested. It tends to get numb, and it looks the other way. And the only way to get the attention of the market back is to put it on sale. And this is very, very important if we want to keep the momentum to the upside. Short-term dip and then higher high on a reaction. And that's the way we can get this market rolling again. So I feel like it would be healthy for Bitcoin to come down so we can get some more bulls involved that are waiting with cash on the side to be buying the dip, such as myself. I won't be buying Bitcoin, but I'll definitely be buying some really, really good projects that are showing tons of strength. Look at, as we keep on going down, look at XRP doing great. XRP has been climbing the market cap ladder, doing good, up another 29% more or less. Guys, my XRP bags out of nowhere are looking pretty good, even though I wasn't even, expecting a massive pump like this. It's great to have a bit of exposure on some of those altcoins. As we keep on going down, we see a lot of strength, even in Cardano doing pretty good, slow grind to the upside, and many others. AVAX, a bit of a pop to the upside, which is good, reclaiming a bit of the previous price action. Chainlink did very, very good right now, breaking out of its diagonal, trend line, going for an expansion to the upside. HBAR also has been doing great, 44% to the upside for the day. Really good gainers, Litecoin as well. So guys, be careful here, getting into these green pumps, right? Because the green pumps are the ones that generally, end up inducing a bit of pain, especially if we do get rejected any moment now. When you see lots of green, lots of euphoria, lots of good price action, green pumps are not the time to be buying in. Be looking for those, bottom dwelling projects that are definitely at the bottom, holding support levels, waiting for their turn patiently. And that's where you got to also show some patience to get skill in, wait, and DCA, build that position nice and big, so when it gets its pop, you're going to be nice in the green. As of now, I'm feeling that ultimately, having reserve of capital, of cash on the side is probably the best strategy, ensuring you have a dry powder to be buying the dips just in case it happens. We're going to look at Bitcoin in a second to give you a perspective of what could happen in the next little while. Given that Bitcoin is looking at just a little bit frothy, I'm not willing to take too much risk here. I got in some longs, I'm in some shorts at the same time, trading the shorter term time frame. Right now, the spot bags are the ones that are printing. Spot bags are really, really important to make sure that you have them ready to go, because look at Algorand, look at Filecoin, OG projects are doing great. VeChain is waking up, also another 17% to the upside for the day. We know that VeChain is an OG in this space, and these Dino projects are waking up with some strength, so that's great. And ultimately, we'll see that rotation into the mid caps, the micro caps, and all that. But in the meantime, we got to understand that what's really happening is we're seeing some of these larger cap, boomer projects looking pretty good. So that's awesome. What is this? I have no idea. KI, whatever it is, looks pretty good, guys. It's up 50% for the day. Great stuff there. Brett is doing its thing, but we have Quant waking up, doing good. Obviously above the $100 mark is actually ideal to see Quant above that level, since it was its support and resistance for so long. So we can see that generally speaking, the market, there are some good gainers. Most of them are the older projects that we least expect, and some of them are just hesitant, not looking the greatest. Like even Radium, look at the way Radium looks right now. Not the greatest, to be honest. Part of the Solana narrative, the main DEX on Solana, we got to anticipate that Solana's taking a break right now, letting XRP, HBAR, and a few others reclaim some of the previous price action, because it has been lagging behind significantly in the last little while, given the pressure of regulation, right? Regulatory pressure, and all the lawsuits and all that nonsense definitely now is not a concern. So it has room to stretch its legs, and this is what we're seeing here is HRP and many XRP and many others do their thing. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at charts. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin first, just as a leading indicator. And then we'll take a look at Spectral. At the end of the day, Bitcoin not showing that much interest to me. I'm not crazy about what's happening right here. It's playing a lot of games, emotional games, right? I have this red arrow in here for a good while. This was the level of target where I was like, guys, it's done for me at the current moment. I'm getting risk off. I'm going to get very, very conservative here in how I trade. I got into a lot of margin positions right around this level. A lot of the margin positions are did very well, and they're all closed. I'm in some positions, but short-term leverage positions, getting in and getting out. That's all I'm really worried about right now, is generating cash in order to be able to buy the dips and accumulate. That's all it is. But Bitcoin, the way it is right now on the daily, not a major structure, but I don't like this scenario. I'm not crazy about it. Now on the 4-hour, things even look a little bit uncertain and a little bit that it's manipulative, right? So we made higher highs up into here, broadening wedge, we broke below, we got rejected a little bit, and now we're hanging around this level. The hang time right now looks really heavy. It looks really heavy. Like, ultimately Bitcoin could start rolling over, and the fear that's going to get triggered once we break below certain levels, maybe around 91,000. Once we start breaking below there, guys, it's not going to look good for Bitcoin in the short term. And this is absolutely normal, because if you start zooming out and really measuring, Bitcoin coming down to about 87 is absolutely fine, and even falling through this volume gap to about 77 would actually be fine as well. But that would be the absolute opportunity, guys. If Bitcoin does come down, make sure that you have capital reserved to buy the dips around the zone. If it doesn't, at least we can catch some bottoms at about 86,500. I think that's generally a good level to expect a bounce and a reaction, given the fact that the 200 is around there. If you look on the daily, where are we with the 200? It needs to catch up. This is one of the issues. The 200 daily needs to catch up just a little bit. So maybe we trek up a little bit higher. We do come down a little bit. And the question is, do we touch the 200 when it's over here or up here? This is the issue here, guys. We also have this bit of a trend line that we can kind of stretch over and put it into confluence. Let's get rid of this so we can clean up this chart. So we definitely keeping an eye on what's happening here in the next little while. I am not getting into risky positions, only on lower time frames, the 15-minute and the 5-minute. All right, guys, let's talk about Spectral. What's going on with SPEC? SPEC at the end of the day got a decent rejection here in price discovery. It did get into price discovery for a brief moment here and a quick reaction to the downside. Now, as you guys know, I am not a believer in buying into green candles. And this is something that's, a lot of traders say. This is probably the most common saying out there, but it holds so much truth, guys, because ultimately that's where the emotions start to kick in. When you get those green candles in price discovery, and you don't know, the reality is you don't know where we're going to get rejected. So the best thing to do is always defend your gains, take a bit of profit. And you can see if you haven't or did not take any profit from the top to where we are right now, you would have given back about 27% back to the market. Okay, that's a lot. That's significant. So backpedaling a little bit and looking at where the entries were. The entry were down here when I did the deep dive. Guys, if you're interested in a Spectral deep dive, I do have one on the channel. The deep dive playlist is packed with different deep dives, hour-long videos talking about everything that you need to know about the specific project. In this case, Spectral's fundamentals are pretty decent, and I was able to pack a decent bag right around this level, which is great. But then if you start looking at it, the reality is I wasn't the only one that bought into this accumulation range. As you can see, there's a lot of volume. I was just lucky enough to buy the bottom of the range because obviously finding support zones, horizontal support zones, and taking risk at bottoms is the way I do it. Right? So at this current moment, I'm thinking about where do we get in now? The reality is that we have a few levels of confluence that we got to watch out for. Number one, obviously the top is something to concern with, because if we get back above it again, that's bullish. It's looking pretty good. Okay. As of now, we are below it. So that is still a concern. This level right here is quite interesting also, because that's where the beginning of all the volume kicks in, right into here. As you can see, this huge cluster. And we attempted an expansion. I want to measure the expansion in terms of Fibonacci, swing high to swing low. Right here, we hit the 1.27 extension level almost on the dot, like literally almost on the cent, which is a lot of confluence. And at the end of the day, enough for me to suggest that, trailing up a stop loss, at least if you got in early, protecting the gains with stop losses is great. Taking 10% off the top when you enter price discovery is pretty good as well. DCA in, DCA out. These are great strategies because nobody knows where the top actually is. But guess what, guys? We got that rejection. Now, again, concern is where do we deploy capital? How do we play this game? If you're still holding and you're in the green, I think that you've endured the majority of the dip in the short term. Okay, I feel like we could get a bit of a reaction soon, given the fact that we are very close to about $12.15. The $12.15 zone is the horizontal support right now that we could be dealing with if the price comes down a little bit further. Now, there's another thing that could happen. We can get a bounce any moment based off this high here at $13.20. That's also very possible, and that leads me into the second scenario. The first scenario is we keep on retracing and we deal with this cluster of volume that could act as support, and we potentially could hunt a bit of liquidity down here. So that's option number one. Come down, hunt liquidity, and eventually see how much of this volume will act as support before we get a reversal back to the upside. That is one scenario. Second scenario, obviously, is we consolidate right into here. Some sort of structure. It could definitely happen, right? And obviously, a structure that disrespects the previous high is not too much of a concern as long as it is a bull flag or a bullish structure, continuation structure. And that is very, very possible, and ultimately see a continuation to the upside. So what we have to do is identify the possibilities of where the price could gain support in the immediate short term, and that is all in this area. And of course, if we get a lot of bearishness, guys, ultimately led by Bitcoin and maybe Ethereum, because as of now, Bitcoin is not looking the greatest to me at the current moment. I feel like it could retrace and come down a little bit. And if that's the case, we couldn't come down even further. Who knows how low we could go and inflict a lot more pain than we expected and hunt the liquidity where the most painful zones are, and that would be at the point of control right around $10. Okay, so this is the thing here, guys. If we do not show support around here, take it easy, wait, buy a little bit here, and if it keeps on falling, just let it fall. Don't try to catch the falling knife. If we get the structure, then we can buy the bottom of the structure and get into another setup with a healthy risk to reward, buy the bottom and expect the continuation to the upside. That's the best way to do it. Now let's take a look at oscillators just to get a sense of where we are with momentum, because I'm anticipating that there is frothiness up here with momentum as well. As you can see, we did break the bearish divergence, and we went up for that higher high. I feel like ultimately, guys, it would be a perfect storm to see this thing get oversold. Look at the volatility line. The orange line is pushing oversold. Momentum also might be breaking these bottoms very, very soon, maybe getting oversold. And then obviously we have these expansions right into here, the purple expansions that are still deviating in the sense that we're making lower highs on the purple expansions. Does that mean that maybe we start diverging to the downside for a bigger correction? Honestly, Spectral is still very speculative in the sense its market cap is small and it's on base, which is good, but ultimately peaks and valleys are meant to be traded. And if we do come down for a bigger dip than expected, even down to about $10 or $8 where the 200 daily EMA is, guys, I'm going to be buying in. I'm going to be buying in at a better risk to reward ratio than it is right now. So I'm going to be taking it easy here in the next little bit because there are signs of weakness that I'm not willing to trade or get exposed to at the current moment. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the live stream tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.